My mum needs a new phone. So a few days ago, I was talking to my mum and she's had some issues with her current phone, which is the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. Some of the issues she's having is where the phone will freeze every now and again and she can't unfreeze it, so she has to hard reset it. There's a few other issues, and when I've looked into the phone, it was released in 2021, so it's over 5 years old, and they only guaranteed 2 major Android updates and 3 years of security updates. So this phone hasn't been updated in a while, and these bugs that it's having will never be fixed. So we both agreed that she needs a new phone, but we have to find out which phone is best for my mum. So a little secret is the phone we're going to end up deciding is the best for my mum, I'm actually going to buy for her. So if you guys are interested in her reaction, wait to the end of the video. So I'm going to show you guys a few different research techniques to finding the best smartphone, in this case for my mum, but it can be applied to finding the best smartphone for you. Or if you've got a friend or family member that's also looking for a smartphone, the phone chosen at the end of the video might actually be the same smartphone they need. So make sure to send this video to them. So the first step is finding out what requirements we need. What do we want? What would we like to have? And what we definitely don't want. So I'm going to start by calling my mum to find out what she needs from her next smartphone.
Hello.
Hello. We were talking the other day about you getting a new smartphone and what you might want.
Yes.
So I'm going to do a video where I sort of review a bunch of different phones that I think might be good for you. So I thought I'll just ask you what you sort of want out of a phone.
Okay. Basically, I just want a straightforward phone, something that's quite simple for me to use.
Okay, so simple, easy to use. Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Like it to have the same sort of storage I've got at the moment, which is 128
gigabyte. Yep, I saw that. So I saw actually you used like 100 gigabytes so far. So potentially that is like the minimum storage you would need.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything that you don't like? Any phone that you don't want?
I don't like iPhones.
Okay, so no iPhones. Okay.
No iPhones. No, I'm just quite happy with just a normal Android.
Okay, what about cameras? Do you want like a 5x zoom or an ultra wide, multiple different cameras, or are you happy with just like one good main shooter?
I'm not like on professional photos or anything like that. I don't need anything fancy. I just need something that takes a good picture.
Okay, cool. Size-wise, do you want something a similar size to what you got now, something bigger, something smaller?
I think the size I've got now is ideal.
Okay, cool. And I guess the last sort of thing is price range. What sort of price range? Because I know your current phone is roughly like 300, 350. It was when it was new. So is that the same sort of price range you're looking for this phone?
Yeah, I'd like to stay in that sort of price range if it's possible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I know some flagships are just super expensive. So we're looking for like a budget that sort of does everything you need, that's not going to break the bank.
Exactly, that's all I need.
What I'll do is I'll look at a few different options and I'll sort of narrow it down and then sort of show you some ideas to see if you like any of those.
Okay. Lovely.
Okay, cool. Okay, that was it. Love you, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye. So now that we have the requirements, what I need to do is find as many manufacturers and as many smartphones as possible so we can start narrowing down the search to only a few to find the best phone for my mum. What I'm going to use for tools to do this is number one, AI. Now, it's not always reliable. In fact, I've never had an AI response in terms of a detailed review or just research on a product that's always been 100% right. It always has something wrong or even makes up some figures, so do be careful when using AI for research, but I'm going to start there because it's a great jumping off point. I'm also going to use YouTube, a fantastic source of information on budget phones and phones in general for reviews. And I'm also going to look at tech blogs and tech websites that have all the criteria on what my mum's looking for from a smartphone. And what I'm going to do is cross-reference all of those answers from all the different sources to see if there's any phones that keep getting mentioned. So if I ask AI and it brings up a phone, but that phone is also mentioned in YouTube on the top 10 budget phones of 2026, but is also brought up in a tech website, I'm going to look at that phone first. And when I narrow down that list more and more and more, when I've got a handful of phones left, that's when I'm going to do a deeper dive of research into those phones using YouTube, a dedicated YouTube review of just that phone and other sort of sources, just to see if that phone is the best one of the bunch. Now, if you're someone who doesn't trust YouTube, doesn't trust AI, and doesn't trust tech websites, what you can do is just search for the top 10 manufacturers of the product you're looking for, go to their individual websites and look for the product in your price range, write it down, and then do research based on that product specifically. That way you don't have outside noise and bias choosing your opinion. I've also noticed a bunch of you aren't subscribed, and I don't know if the subscribe button's broken, so if you guys wouldn't mind testing it if you're not subscribed, just click the button down below. I'm not trying to trick you or anything, I'm just trying to see if it works. So let's quickly take a look at some of my research, starting first with ChatGPT. As you can see from the list, we've got the Google Pixel 9a, a few Samsung phones, the Nothing phone. We also have the OnePlus Nord, which is the same phone as what my mum's got now, but this is the newest version of it. CMF phone, Honor 400 Lite as well, Google Pixels. If we go to Gemini, we can see that it mentions a bunch of Samsung phones as well. We've also got the Poco phone mentioned, Nothing phone mentioned. We also have a couple of Google Pixels mentioned again. If we look at Gronk, as you can see, the very top pick is once again the Google Pixel 9a. So that is an extremely strong contender. The Samsung phones mentioned again, once again the Honor 400 mentioned again, and also the OnePlus Nord CE5 mentioned again. So if we look at some tech websites, this is Tech Advisor. It's got the CMF phone, Samsung's, OnePlus, also some more Samsungs. And if we look at Uswitch, it mentions the iPhone, which is a refurbished price, which is a rough guide, which is just sort of nonsense. We've also got the Nothing phone, Samsungs again, Honor again, Google Pixels again. You can start to see a pattern here where I'm picking up the same phones over and over and over. So those will go into my top choices to research further. And also looking at Tech Radar, it's got some Samsung phones, some Google phones, some Motorola. Once again, we've got the OnePlus, we've got an iPhone, which is obviously not considered, and also we have another Poco mention. So I've got all my research, all my data put into a spreadsheet so it's easy to read. I have all the heading categories on one side. I have the original phone that my mum currently has, just to see how it compares to the other phones, and now I've got a whole load of phones that came up on all those lists that I just showed you. So of course we have the Samsungs. The key features from the Samsung phones is their updates. So you have security updates and you have OS updates. Security updates are important, but I really like to see the OS updates just because they come with new features and make your phone more relevant years to come. So as you can see with the original OnePlus Nord CE that my mum has right now, it had 2 years of OS updates and 3 years of security updates. So they're long gone and they're redundant at this moment. Samsung does both security and OS for 6 years. Really, really strong. If we move on to the Google Pixel 9a, it does 7 years. So I've highlighted it green because that is the strongest out of all the list of phones I have that does the best for software updates. Now you can see I also have the Honor phones because they were mentioned a bunch, and you can see that the Honor 400 has the best battery and also matches in terms of size because she wanted a similar sized phone to what she currently has, and the Honor is the closest to that. If we move along, we have the Motorola, which is the cheapest price, which is not necessarily the biggest deal, but it obviously is a factor into, what we're looking at. We also have the Motorola Edge, which has the biggest in terms of RAM. Now, there are other options to expand the RAM storage and also just the storage in general, but that increases the price. And remember, we're looking for about £300, ideally less than £300 budget. So when it goes above that, especially if it goes above that considerably, or it's just really hard to get that version of that phone because of the shortage of RAM and storage in general that we have at the moment, I've sort of disregarded it. If we look at the OnePlus Nord CE, once again, it does actually offer really strong across the board. It's not necessarily a standout on any factor, it's just a really strong phone. But I haven't really considered it just because she wants to step away from OnePlus and try something new. And this obviously is just the exact same, just with better hardware. We also have the Nothing 3A. The only issue I had with this was the expense. It only has 3 years of updates and it also is fairly expensive. Now, it did mention the 2A, but this is when we're getting older and older and older. And with the OS updates only being like 3 years, it's not enough to continue for the future. And looking at the Poco X8 Pro, that has the best chip. It has the most powerfulest chip. It also has 4 years of updates. So this is a really, really strong contender, but it still only has 4 years, as opposed to some of them that have 6 or even 7. Now, at this stage, I picked some of my favorites. I watched a whole bunch of reviews from people that I trust, and I narrowed it down to a few phones that I thought were just the best for my mum. A big contender, I'm not gonna lie, was the Google Pixel 9a, just because it was #1 across all the lists. It has 7 years of updates, so it will last her a long time. It is just a good all-round phone. It's easy to use. It ticks pretty much all the boxes. The only issues it really had was it was smaller than her original phone. I personally like a smaller phone, so I didn't necessarily rule that out as it's a deal breaker. The deal breaker came from the storage. The default is 128 gigabytes, and as she's on 100 gigabytes used already, and that was in 5 years, this would only last her like a year before she has to either get external storage from a cloud or she just needs a new phone, because this is only limited to 128 gigs. So it sort of was a no-go just based on that. And if I did try to find the bigger version, which I found hard to find, it then becomes a lot more expensive, out of budget, ruled it off. So the two that it sort of came down to, there was some Samsung phones, same sort of issue was, I heard some like mixed reviews around the performance with the chipset, and also just, I don't know, it didn't really strike me as a phone to go for through the reviews I watched. The two stand out for budget, performance, and just sort of ticks all the boxes was the Honor 400 and the Poco X8 Pro. The Poco X8 Pro was actually a later edition where I did a bit more research, because it only appeared on like one list, I think, or a couple of times, but I added it on because the price is so good. So it's really hard to choose between the Honor 400, because the Honor 400 is a year older, but it has more years of updates. But the Poco is newer with a better chip, but it has fewer years of updates, and it is slightly bigger. I don't know, this one's tough. So after a long week of going back and forth, I have finally made my decision. I've gone for the Honor 400. I also bought the charging brick just because I wanted it as easy for my mum as possible, and also allow her to get the full fast charging of 66 watts. Now, before I go into my decision why I picked this phone for my mum, let's go give it to her. So the surprise for my mum didn't quite go as planned. Let me explain. So I invited my mum and my dad round. I needed an excuse to have some one-on-one time with my mum so I could give her the phone. And so I had the excuse that I'm going to record a few extra questions for the video. And I had to say that because I'm wearing a mic, I'm going to be recording, it's going to be obvious. So I did that, she was okay with it. And I will show you the clip now where I'm walking out with the phone, I put it in front of her and I say, I got this as a gift for you. And she was just so confused on what's going on, because I think she thought it was a bit for the video rather than me actually doing something for her. And so we recorded a little bit and it was just chaos because she just didn't understand what was going on. So I stopped the recording. I sort of explained that, no, this is real. I got you this phone as a gift. And then I hit record at the perfect time because the penny dropped. Then she understood what was going on, And this is her reaction.
Originally, I thought, oh, this is just for your video thing.
No,
I didn't realise you'd physically went and bought me one. I'm still in a bit of shock, you see.
yeah, but like, well, that was the whole idea. Is I'm not going to tell you I was going to buy it.
Yeah.
It was just I wanted to get your ideas, and then about halfway through, I was like, you know what, you got me the holiday, whatever.
I wanted to do that. That's
I know, but I want to do something nice for you, and I thought this is.
I was going to.
I know you were going to buy it.
Let me buy it.
No, I wanted to get you it, and also, like I said, it actually was a really good price. So originally, I think when it came out, it was £400. Then they reduced it to £300, and in July, just randomly, they had an offer in July where you get £50 off. So that's why it's £250. But I also then bought the charger because I thought, that seems like a really good deal. And the charger, you can get like third-party ones, but this was when you buy it all together, like as a package. It was like it was cheaper getting this charger, like a proper charger.
Oh, wow.
And like I mentioned, has a bigger battery. So your phone you have now has a 4,500 mAh battery. I know you probably don't know what that means, but this one has a 5,300 mAh. So it's about just under 20% bigger battery.
Oh, right.
Your old one charged at 30 watts. This one charges at 66 watts. So it's not only a bigger battery, it charges faster as well.
The OnePlus charges quite fast as well.
And this charges twice as fast.
Okay.
So I love that feature. For me, it's a massive peace of mind, whereas I don't need to think about, I'm on 20%, I'm going out. I know it will charge it really quick.
Yeah.
Where I know a lot of other phones, a lot of other problems like the Samsungs and the Googles don't charge as fast and they don't have as big a battery. So you might be thinking about battery life a little bit more.
Yeah.
With phones like this, you don't really worry about it because you know it can charge really quick and it's got a bigger battery, so it lasts longer. So that's just one of the benefits I thought of this phone. Let alone, like I said, the price was really good. It has all the updates, so you know you can keep it for the next 5 years without worrying. And that's security and operating system. So when an Android version comes out, you'll get that Android version as well as security. So you've got both fronts. So it just ticks all the boxes really. And then like I said, I just thought it would be a nice gesture to give it to you as a gift.
Oh, that's lovely.
No worries.